Welcome, my friends, to the Guided Dog channel, and today we are going to be tackling a topic and a growing phenomenon that we are seeing of people who are using emotional support animals, or the registration of emotional support animals. What prompted me to film this video was an article actually that I read about recently an emotional support animal that was on an airplane that bit somebody in the face, which is entirely unacceptable. On this channel, we are aiming to create better relationships with our dogs, and on the same token, avoid creating more issues for the community of people who are responsible with their dog guardianship. And so what you're seeing right now is this rise in people who are registering emotional support animals, and they are bringing their animals with them everywhere they go, into stores, when they travel, and we're seeing an increasing number of incidences where these emotional support animals are creating a problem in the public spaces that they are. So real quick, let's just delineate the difference between an emotional support animal and a service dog, or say a service animal, because they are different. A service animal would be an animal that has gone through lots and lots of training to be able to become an indispensable tool, because that's essentially what they are, an indispensable tool to the person who they're with. Whereas an emotional support animal is, quite literally as the name implies, is just an animal that this person has registered for their emotional support to be able to take them where they would like to take them when they travel, perhaps when they're finding an apartment, so that they can bring their pet with them. A big difference there, outside of the fact that their functions are totally different, is that an emotional support animal requires no training whatsoever, and actually the certification to make your animal an emotional support animal is it's a very, very short process, and it's not very discriminatory at all. So I won't say the names of specific companies where you can get this done, but I will share my own personal experience. When I went to go rent a home, the company that I rented from directed me to a website to say that if you have pets and you have an emotional need for them, you can go and register yourself on this website. They will get a therapist to contact you, and you can get a letter, and we will waive your fees for pet deposits and pet rental. And I thought, wow, that's pretty great. Sounds like good news to me. I will say, though, upon some very objective reflection, that it was there was hardly any process at all to gaining this very legitimate certificate, and I can see where a lot of people would be, unscrupulous people, would be using that certificate to be able to bring in animals that are not trained in any way, perhaps very, very unruly, and creating more dislike of the community of people who have dogs against the people who don't have dogs and maybe don't like dogs. Now, I will say that there is absolutely a time and a place for being able to connect with and bond with an animal and gaining some emotional support, and certainly some healing, some therapeutic healing from being around animals. I absolutely see the value in that, and there is a place for it. Therapeutic horseback riding, or even just petting a dog, or children who might be kind of shy or have some developmental disabilities. Spending time around qualified animals can absolutely help them. So there is a time and a place for that. But I feel like the emotional support animal, or the emotional service animal, that movement has gotten way out of control, as evidenced by this article that I read where somebody's emotional support animal bit somebody else in the face. Certainly a service dog would never do that. They go through entirely too much training. And so this loophole that people are exploiting, I think, is to the detriment of both them and the animal that they have, that they're claiming as an emotional support animal. So something to keep in mind is that as an emotional support animal, it's supposed to be something that is to help you heal. And all good therapy is aimed at correcting your issue, which means that at some point the need for the therapy would eventually go away because you've resolved your issue. So that being said, you may not need an emotional support animal for the length of the life of that animal, because hopefully you've resolved the issue that the animal was helping you out with in the first place. So that's something to consider, is that instead of using therapy as a tool, you are now using an animal as a tool to help you heal, which the animal likely will outlast that, and now you have something, a living thing that you've used as a tool, as a band-aid, instead of addressing the issue in therapy or on your own. We've placed a living being in a position to be of material use to us, to be a tool to us, which on this channel I definitely do not advocate. Now, is it great to be able to be the guardian of a pet and to be able to enjoy all of the benefits of interacting with and having a relationship with that pet? Absolutely. But we shouldn't be using them as tools, and especially not as emotional band-aids, so that we ourselves don't get any better, but that also that animal is being subjected to something for our own personal use, rather than respecting that animal as another living being. So I don't personally believe that we should be exploiting this loophole of emotional support animals as it has been, and it does absolutely need to be scaled back, not just for our own benefit, but for the benefit of the animals. Our animals can absolutely make our lives richer and help us feel better, but they should not be used as a tool. So I'd be happy to get your comments below on this topic and any other experiences that you might have had relating to emotional support animals. And until next time, Pa Maste.